All right, all right. So here's the biggest question for you guys in terms of 1033 intermediate algebra and college algebra. So what should you expect to do in a week? Okay, so let's look at two different weeks here. Okay, there are weeks that look like this where you have homework, lab work, and then you have also exam weeks, which you have the exam, you have lab work, and you have review, okay, which is a lot less to do, but you also have something that's pretty heavy that's coming up too. All right, so let's look at what typically happens on a traditional week. On a regular week, what will happen is that you will have 3 to 4 homework assignments in MyLabs Plus. So here's my expectation. Before you come to class, you view the so-called videos and notes before you come to class. That's my expectation, okay? So that is something that you should expect for the week. Now, if you want to do all the videos and all the notes at one time before the week starts, you're welcome to do that. So after church on Sunday, you're welcome to go, okay, let's sit down, let's watch all these videos, go through the notes, write down any notes that I might have or questions I might have based on these, and then ask those questions after he teaches it and see if it kind of correlates with this. Is he saying the same things? And is it better? Does it answer the question, or does it create more questions? And so ask those questions, okay? I have no problem with that. So that is the beginning of the week. Now, as you go through this, you're gonna have, like, for example, week 1, you're gonna have 4 homework assignments for the week. Chances are I'm going to make them due at the end of the week, which is probably Sunday night at about midnight, okay? At 11:59 p.m. Let's just not say midnight. So that way, on Sunday at 11:59 p.m., you got 4 assignments due in MyLabs Plus. And then you also have a lab work, okay? So what is lab work? Lab work is gonna be an assignment, so I'm gonna show you right now. This one is from summertime. I call it by dates at that point in time, and you're gonna get 10 multiple choice questions. However, with these ones, it's not just picking the choices, but you have to actually show your work. All right. So if I was to show, well, let's just go with that. So you have to show your work per se. All right. So, as well, for example, there's a good, the reason why I picked this one in particular is because there's going to come a time, and this is towards the end of the semester. So if you look at this one right here says completing the square, while this one says use the quadratic formula. And my expectation is that you would use completing the square to show your work before you choose a certain one, okay? And then obviously I'll use not a test generator, sorry. I'll go to Google. And what I'll do is do a number generator. And 1 to 10, and I'll tell it to generate. And whatever number it is, it comes out to be 9. So then I'll come back here and I will grade number 9. All right. So number 9 says completing the square. So if you do not use that method on number 9, then you get it wrong. Okay. Yes, you can use other ways. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I still need to know that you know how to do the work and not just using any method. And understand that on the exam, you can use any method you want, right? If you don't want to practice it, you don't have to, but you are going, when you're tested, I won't be able to know which method you use because it's going to be 25 multiple choice questions. While homework as well, I don't know. So essentially you could cheat all the way through, and it doesn't really help you whatsoever. Or you can just be the best guesser in the world and get an A, and you have no idea what's going on. So the lab work gives me a chance to look at your work to say, this person is getting stuck here, here, and here, and they weren't willing to ask a question, so therefore I'm going to be proactive and actually come to you and say, hey, what's going on with this, right? So what should showing the work look like? So I also did this worksheet. So this is what you're going to submit. So what I did was I showed you, this is what it should look like. Yes, see, I made some mistakes, all right? And I was using pen, bad me, all right? So if you notice that as you're looking at the work, I can see, okay, so we're gonna add these two, subtract these two fractions, so we need common denominators, and they got to here. So now they box the answer, they chose the choice, is that choice right? Same thing here, they show all the work. Same thing here, they show all the work. It would tell me that, hey, you as a student know what's going on. All right, so for example, when we go to 9, notice what I wrote. I wrote the thing and I said, it says to do completing the squares. So I did completing the squares. Now, if you use this and say, you know what, I'm gonna use the quadratic formula here, then you're automatically wrong because you didn't use that method. Now, again, on the exam, I'm not going to tell you to show work. On the homework, I'm not gonna tell you to show work. So lab work is the only place that I can ask you to show work and see if your work is correct. So if you do not use completing the square, it'll be wrong. So I want your work to be somewhat neat, and notice that I went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Now, I went in numerical order, right? That's number 1. It's not like number 1 is up here and all of a sudden number 2 is down here, number 3 is over here, number 4 is up here, number 5 is over here somewhere, right? It's not all over the place. Everything is in numerical order. Now, the reason why I also did this is to show you that there are 2 ways of doing this. Now, I did this all the way across, all right, and did it that way. Or you can, I folded the paper in half and I started using just the half side, going, okay, here's 5, there's 6, and come back here, do 7, and do 8. And then do 9, again, we're completing the squares, you're gonna know you need a lot of space, so I tend to do it that way. So on 9, I did the work on the left side, but show even more work on the right side, right? Same thing here. I did the work on the show the work on the left side, but I did even more work on the right side. So there are several ways that you can do this. However you guys want to do it, it's up to you, but it should be somewhat neat, okay? So just so you guys know, what happened last semester was exactly what I was saying, that numbers were all jumbled up. I had no idea where they were going. So 1 could have went this way, while 2 went this way, and 3 went over here to the next page, right? I like it so that 3 is ending this page, done. I got room here, but I'm not gonna squeeze something else in here, right? I'm just gonna start. All right, 4, 5, awesome. I can squeeze 6 in there, great. No big deal. 7, 8, there's some space in there. I'm not gonna start another problem. I'm just gonna go to the next page, okay? So I want you guys to understand that. And even last semester, even though in the directions it tells you to work it on a separate sheet of paper, people start doing work in here and just kind of snaked it through and everything else. That will be an automatic 0, okay? So I wanna set that expectation right now, and that lab work would be, I think, this one. Okay, so if you look at this, no, this is actually the one previous to it. So notice what it says: must show work for all 10 problems. I will pick a problem at random and grade that one problem. So when you get that back, that work back with feedback, you're gonna see only one problem being graded. So if you got a 10 out of 10, doesn't mean that the other 9 problems are correct. So you might want to ask, hey, I was really curious about this problem. And remind me, I will give you the answers to those lab work so that you can check your answers to make sure that they are correct, all right? And it says, please be neat. If I can't read it, I can't grade it, right? So it tells you to use a scanner, some options of scanner apps there. And one of the scanner apps that I like is OneDrive, as Microsoft OneDrive. And the reason is because with Microsoft OneDrive, it's where you can save your files via cloud, and then you can access that right through your computer as well. And also it has a scanner on top of that. So it's one app, two features right in there, okay? So again, has to be work shown, has to be on a separate sheet of paper, has to be neat. And notice that, yes, some of the, let me see here. I know there was one that was kind of like Z's and twos, right? Sometimes it's hard to read that, but I try my best to do that. And, overall, I think I can read it. Overall, you might not be able to read it. So I understand that too, okay? But I think I showed enough work for you guys to go, I can pretty much read everything that needs to be read, okay? So again, throughout the week, you have a regular week, you have 3 to 4 homework assignments, okay? So this first week, you have 4 homework assignments for My Labs Plus and 1 lab work to do, okay? So that's the typical week, 3 to 4 homework assignments on My Labs Plus and a lab work. So week 2, look at this, 4 homework assignments, a lab work. Now, yes, there's a lab work and a review here. The only reason why I did it is actually for this week here, okay? I want to expose it to you during the second week so that you can work on it the rest of that second week preparing for the exam. Because some of you guys are taking the exam Monday morning at 8. If I open this on, Monday morning at midnight, then you're not going to have a lot of time. So that's the reason why I put it in second week. But this is actually not due until the end of the 3rd week. So in fact, I don't even grade the review. So on exam week, you only have a lab work and the exam. And those are only 2 things that you have. And that's it during exam week. So as you scroll through here, you can see 4 homework assignments, a lab work. Week 5, 3 homework assignments and a lab work. This is just telling me that there's an exam coming up. So these 2 here go with week 6 and it will be due at the end of week 6. Week 7, 3 homework assignments and a lab work. Week 8, 2 homework assignments and a lab work. This goes to this week because that's exam week. 4 homework assignments and a lab work. 4 homework assignments and a lab work. 1 homework assignment and a lab work, and then this is going to exam 4. And then week 14 and 15 is when we're going to review for the final exam. And then there's more final exam review on week 16, and then you have the final exam. So that is what you are expected to know each week. So last semester I had a student that says, I put a lot of work here in this class. Could I just get a raise in my grade from, a low D to a low C? And so I looked it up. I go, okay, let's look it up. Let's see how much time you put in it because you claimed that you put so much time into it. So when I looked it up, they spent 38 hours in My Labs Plus. 19 of those hours were spent on the final exam review without getting it done. Meaning all they did was turn on My Labs Plus and just let it run for 19 hours. So to me, that means the rest of the class was only 19 hours that they spent. And they felt like that was a lot of time. And I want you guys to understand, obviously, your definition of putting a lot of time into class versus what I think is putting a lot of time in the class are 2 very different levels, okay? I want you guys to understand that that putting in work is necessary here. Putting in work is going to help you make math easier. I know that most of you guys are in this class because either you hate math or you think you can't learn math or you're just not placed in the correct place and you're actually excellent in math and you could blow through this class. Great. That's all possibilities. But if you think you hate math and you think you can't learn math, you actually can. You just got to put in some time. And I promise you that if you are willing to give me the time to teach you and you're willing to put in the work, you will be very successful in this class, okay? So I wanted to kind of lay out what is expected from you each week in class, each week at home, as you're trying to get homework done and everything else. So essentially the most that you need to worry about is really 5 things every single week. 4 of them are assignments in MyLabs Plus, and one's gonna be the lab work where you need to show your work, you need to scan it, you need to upload it. And I will explain to you guys in class how to upload those documents, how to use a scan feature in OneDrive. There's other scanners out there that I don't mind you using, as long as that it can convert to a PDF. Other ones is like I've been using Genius Scan for a long time, and now I've switched over to OneDrive. So if you want to use Genius Scan, go for it. There are other ones as well. So like I said, as long as it can convert your scanned document to a PDF, you're good to go. Now, there are also some printers that have scanners. You're welcome to use that as well. I have no issues with any scanners. It's typically when a student that has a printer that doesn't have a scanner, or doesn't have a printer at all at home, and they have no way of scanning. And that's the reason why I always try to find the freest or the cheapest apps there are for your advantage. And most of the apps I can find for you guys are typically free. So that's what I'm trying to do, is have you guys pay less for college as much as possible. And I apologize that one of the fees is the access code for MyLabs Plus. And like I said, you can pretty much stop right there and not have to purchase anything else. You can use the Desmo test mode to use it as a calculator if you want to. Like I said, you got to get used to it. You got to use it all the time. Does it have to be in test mode when you're working on homework? No, you can just use it as a practice test, and it won't lock you out with everything. Okay, so. And then the other thing is that learning wise, some of you guys can only focus 20 minutes at a time, and it's okay. Do it, focus for 20 minutes, walk away, grab a snack, do a stretch, take a jog around the house, and then come back, and then you're kind of refreshed to learn again. So make increments of 20 minutes of learning, and put in more of those time rather than sitting for 3 hours straight and trying to get everything done. Usually you're going to lose focus. Your mind is not going to be in it. So start at 20 minutes at a time. Put a timer on your phone and set it and go, okay, I got 20 minutes. I'm going to try to study, try to do work. Once that goes off, you got to move around and then come back, reset the timer again, go 20 minutes, do it again. Now, some of you guys might be able to go 25, maybe able to go 30. But again, it's the same thing. It's like a typical training, right? Where you kind of need to train yourself to get to that point. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you later. See ya.